addition to completing all basic training syllabus and training requirements, Drum and Bugle Corps members commit additional training hours for practice throughout their weeks of training. Their extra effort and commitment demonstrate teamwork and the Air Force's core value, service before self. With each Drum and Bugle Corps performance, they honor the long-standing tradition of live music at formal military ceremonies.
If you are so willing, please join me in prayer. Most holy and mighty God, we gather here today in celebration. We celebrate all that has been accomplished in the lives of each of these airmen over the past 7.5 weeks of training. They have endured challenges, disappointments, defeats, and victories. They have learned much, and they have been knighted for the tasks ahead. And through it all, you were there, and we give you thanks. To you be all honor, glory, and power, both now and forever. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's Basic Military Training Graduation Ceremony. We would like to introduce our distinguished guests, beginning with the host for today's ceremony. The Commander, Air Force Basic Military Training and 1990 graduate of Basic Military Training, Colonel Jeff Pixley, accompanied by his wife, Andrea. The Senior Enlisted Leader, Air Force Basic Military Training and 2003 graduate of Basic Military Training, Chief Master Sergeant Dan Anderson. From the graduating squadron, the Commander, 324th Training Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Michelle Sterling. The Senior Enlisted Leader, 324th Training Squadron, and 2001 graduate of Basic Military Training, Chief Master Sergeant Alan Frank. Also in attendance with us today, the Mobilization Assistant to the Director of Operations, Brigadier General Christopher Freeman. The Commander, 37th Training Wing, Colonel Lauren Kershane. The Vice Commander, 37th Training Wing, Colonel John Odell III. Although time does not permit us to introduce all of our distinguished guests, the 737 Training Group is proud to welcome each of you. We hope you enjoy today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Master Sergeant Frank will now come forward and address our graduating class.
All right, good morning, Knights. Good morning, family and friends. Thank you for sending us these amazing men and women. I'm so excited to welcome them and you into this Air Force family. Also, let's give a hand to our military training instructors and our support and tunnel staff who put their heart and soul into this. In February of 1969 in South Vietnam, Airman First Class John Levito was performing loadmaster duties aboard an AC-47 Dragon ship when the aircraft was sent to destroy mortar positions. They were hit with a mortar shell, sending shrapnel into him and his teammates, causing another member to drop a magnesium flare. Stunned and wounded by shrapnel, he flung himself onto the flare, drug it to the cargo door, and threw it out, saving the lives of his fellow crew members and the gunship. In June 2006, while deployed to Iraq and meeting with Iraqi officials, enlisted Special Agent Greg Carmack observed a vehicle approaching his team at a high rate of speed, striking an Iraqi police officer and breaking through their cordon. His training kicked in and he engaged the terrorist, saving the lives of his team and the Iraqi officials he was tasked to meet with. In January 2020, while deployed to Kenya, Technical Sergeant Jordan Locke was performing duties as a security forces defender when al-Shabaab terrorists attacked cooperative security location Manda Bay. He and his team engaged in an hours-long firefight, eventually repelling the terrorists and preventing further casualties. These were ordinary airmen just like you, who answered the call to serve their country. Later, they deployed in harm's way to support its interests. When crisis struck, they were ready and willing to put their lives on the line to protect their brothers and sisters in arms. These airmen did extraordinary things, and there are countless examples like these by people who stood right where you are now. And as you stand here right now, there are ordinary airmen doing extraordinary things all over the world while fighting alongside our sister services and international partners. As our newest airmen, you may soon do the same. Committing to defend freedom and the American way of life is hard work. There's a cost to calling yourself an airman in the world's greatest air force. You'll sacrifice many things that your civilian family and friends will not. It's hard work. Basic training is work to transform you from a civilian into an airman, and you will continue to receive training to do the jobs we will ask you to do. But your preparation is not over. How ready you are, how mentally tough you are, how resilient you are, that is up to you. Every one of you during your Air Force journey will be faced with difficulty, challenges, and adversity. It's what happens after that counts. I will tell you that getting up after being knocked down is much harder if you haven't done anything to prepare for it. Nassim Taleb, in his book Anti-Fragile, Things That Gain from Disorder, says, "Wind extinguishes a candle and it energizes fire. Likewise, with randomness, uncertainty, and chaos, you want to use them, not hide from them. You want to be the fire and wish for the wind." So you can be a candle, easily blown out when hit with setbacks, or you can be a raging fire, energized by them. There are a few things I want to recommend you do early on in your career. The first one is become emotionally intelligent. I believe it's the single most important thing you can do to become a better person, a better airman, and a better leader. Surround yourself with positive people who push themselves and you to be better. Stay away from the can't catch a break crowd. People are always making themselves out to be a victim. They will rob you of your optimism, your enthusiasm, and your pride. Number 3, focus on the things you can control, and try not to expend energy on changing things that you can't. And 4, come to realize that the thing you may want in a specific moment might possibly be the opposite of what you need. Things may not always go as planned, but remember, you're always just one decision away from changing your entire life. I couldn't be more honored to stand in front of you as your first chief. I am incredibly proud of how far you've come. Keep preparing, keep growing. Build your mental toughness and resiliency, and there's no doubt we will hear about the extraordinary things that you do very soon. Thank you for your service and your sacrifice. As your senior enlisted leader, I hereby acknowledge your completion of all graduation requirements, and have recommended to Colonel Pixley and Chief Master Sergeant Anderson that you receive your coveted Airman's coin, which signifies your transition today from trainees. Military training instructors, you may proceed.
At this part of the ceremony, the military training instructors will distribute the Venerable Airman's coin, and for the first time, distinct Space Force coins to our Space Force graduates. The lore of military coins has many colorful suspected origins. However, a popular story stems from World War I, where American volunteers formed flying squadrons in France during the Great War. One of the volunteers was a wealthy lieutenant who took great pride in his service and had medallions cast in bronze, with his squadron's emblem on them. He gave those medallions to every member of his unit. Not long after, one of the pilots was shot down behind enemy lines and was captured by a German patrol. The German forces confiscated the pilot's possessions except for the pilot's medallion that he wore around his neck. While in confinement in a small French village, the captured pilot took advantage of a nighttime bombardment by the Allies. He donned civilian clothes and escaped after crossing the front lines to safety. He came across a French outpost where he was initially thought to be a saboteur until he showed them his unit coin. The French forces recognized the unit emblem, and instead of any harsher treatment, he received a bottle of wine. Today, several military units have developed their own coins and specific rules for them. Many organizations give out their unit coins to recognize outstanding performances and achievements. The coins the airmen and space professionals receive today are unique in that they originate here at the gateway to the Air Force and are only given to those who complete this rigorous course of instruction. On one side of the Airman's coin, the original emblem of the Air Force resides as envisioned by General Henry Hap Arnold, one of the first military aviators and later commander of the Army Air Forces in World War II. Beneath the emblem, the year 1947, the birth date of the United States Air Force, and around the rim of the coin, the core values of the Air Force: integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Inscribed on the other side of the coin is the newly recognized emblem of the Air Force, a symbol that honors the heritage of our past and represents the promise of our future. The emblem retains the core elements of the Henry Hap Arnold emblem, the Arnold wings, and the star within a circle. The modern effect of the emblem reflects our Air and Space Force today and into the future. Inscribed in a half circle above the contemporary Air Force emblem is the Air Force motto, "Aim high, fly, fight, win." And on the border of the coin, a reminder to all who see this is inscribed, "Awarded on the occasion of becoming an airman in the world's greatest Air Force." The Space Professional coin also has a distinctive design. On one side, it displays the original emblem of the Space Force, the Delta, which was first used by space units in 1961 and honors the heritage of the United States Space Force. Beneath the emblem is the year 2019, the birth date of the United States Space Force. Inscribed on the other side of the coin is the Space Force motto, "Semper Supra," which translates to "always above." This represents the Space Force's role in establishing, maintaining, and preserving our nation's dominance and freedom of operations in the space domain. On the coin's border is a commemorative inscription that reads, "Awarded on the occasion of becoming a charter member of the United States Space Force."
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Sterling will now come forward and address our graduating class.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. What an honor it is to look out into the audience and see all the families and loved ones joining us today. It is my great privilege to introduce to you the 624 airmen from the 324th Training Squadron as our nation's newest airmen. As a parent of a child about the same age, beginning to make their way in the world, I know a little of the potent mix of emotions you are probably feeling this morning. Pride and joy intermixed with the protective nervousness of sending your loved ones off into the unknown. It may or may not make you feel a little better to know that my mother, an Air Force spouse herself, still occasionally refers to my joining the Air Force as the time I ran away from home. But I want to assure you that the young men and women standing before you are in fact running towards something, towards a future full of promise and opportunity. It may not feel like that in this moment, but you are not losing them today. But today you are gaining an extended Air Force family which spans the globe. Well, Knights, here we are. What a journey these last 2 months have been. When you arrived, I welcomed you into the profession of arms and reminded you that like all professions, there were requirements for entry and continued service, as well as standards of conduct. I promised you that we would challenge you and evaluate you fairly on your performance and how you adopted and carried out our Air Force core values of integrity, service, and excellence. Our nation has high expectations of its warriors, and therefore we have high expectations of you. I am pleased to congratulate you not only on meeting those high standards, but in exceeding them. I'm proud of you, your military training instructors are proud of you, and I know your family and friends cheering you on the stands in the morning are very proud of you. You've worked hard to reach this day. Congratulations. Before I continue, I do want to take a moment to recognize our military training instructors. To my MTIs, thank you. Through your leadership, you have inspired each airman in your flight. And as a result, you have personally ensured our newest airmen embody our hope for the future of our nation's security. The airmen standing before us today are your legacy. You should be very proud of the fact that you make our Air Force better and our nation stronger with each airman that you train. Thank you. Knights, as you prepare to graduate tomorrow, I remind you that the end of basic training is an important milestone, but it's not an ending, but a beginning. The beginning of your Air Force journey. You will need to take the lessons and skills you learned here and apply them as you learn your craft and technical training and begin to operate independently in your first duty assignment. You will continue to be challenged, but I'm confident that you are up to the task. Though today we are focused on your successes, it's important to remember that one of the most important lessons we've tried to teach you during your time with us is this: showing up matters, striving matters, and working every day to get better and be a good teammate and a good wingman matters. Over a century ago, President Teddy Roosevelt spoke words that speak to this very idea. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or how the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the one actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends themselves in a worthy cause, who at the best in the end knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if they fail, at least fails while daring greatly. Thank you, Knights, for stepping into the arena, for picking up the mantle of responsibility to defend our freedoms in this great nation for the next generation. I'm confident that you now and always are ready for battle and will lead our Air Force as the nation's next guarantors of democracy, freedom, and peace. At this moment in our history, our nation faces great challenges at home and across the globe. To prevail will take all of us, together, daring greatly. And if we stumble, we will fall forward, learn, pick ourselves up, and move together as a team, daring greatly once again, because you only truly fail when you stop trying. I leave you with this. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together, and always act as one team. One fire. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Sterling. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to take this opportunity to recognize basic military training's most outstanding performer, someone who demonstrated their ability to successfully navigate all assessments, testing their physical abilities, academic aptitude, and adaptability to the military environment through multiple progress checks. This airman has surpassed all others in the challenges of training and has earned the distinction of being the top graduate of this class. The top graduate is from Flight 084, Airman Kyle Larson. He is from Cleveland, New York, and joined the Air Force to become a command and control battlefield management operations technician. In the stands cheering are his mother and stepfather, Rochelle and Melvin Wright, his grandparents, Teresa and Roy Jensen, and brother Christopher Larson. His recruiter is Staff Sergeant Sarah Petricola. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as a sign of unity as our top graduate leads us through the Airman's Creed. Instructors, place your flights at attention.
I'm an American Airman!
This morning, our Secretary of the Military Customs and Traditions as we welcome our newest airman into the ranks of the Department of the Air Force. There are two purposes for this morning's retreat ceremony. The retreat ceremony is a solemn event conducted at every United States military installation around the globe. It signifies the end of the official duty day, and today is the symbolic end of training for our graduates. But more importantly, it is to pay respect to our nation's flag. When we offer our respect to our flag and to our national anthem, we have an opportunity to reflect on the democratic principles that have made our nation great. The meaning of freedom, dignity of the individual, pursuit of happiness, and national unity all come to mind when we think of our flag. It is a symbol of our nation to the world. Military members have a special bond with the flag. These airmen are part of the flag's tradition because they symbolize the spirit and sacrifices of the military and dedication to the defense of this great nation and the principles it represents. When we salute the flag as it is lowered, we ask that you think. Think about the flag flying over Arlington and other national cemeteries. Think about the flag being carried into combat by service members who preceded us. Think about the freedom Americans enjoy today, freedom without precedent in the history of the world. The men and women who stand before you today represent the projection of the strength behind our flag. Our flag security detail consists of past members from the graduating squadron, led by Technical Sergeant Andre Hart Thomas. Our commander of airmen is Master Sergeant Dexter Corbett.
Squadron!
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the sounding of retreat and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem.
Sound! Retreat! Squadron! In hot! Present! Hot!
The flag stands for peace, honor, truth, justice, and freedom. In the armed forces of the United States, during the ceremony of retreat, the flag is lowered, folded in a triangle fold, and kept under watch throughout the night as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The next morning, it is brought out at the ceremony of reveille. The flag has been torn to strips and used as bandages for wounded combatants on the battlefield. It has been placed in the trembling arms of a grieving parent at the grave of their fallen son or daughter. It has flown at half-staff to honor our military members. The flag has flown in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. It has flown at Valley Forge, Shiloh, and Gettysburg. It was there at San Juan Hill, the trenches of France, in the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, on the beaches of Normandy. It was waved at Okinawa, Korea, Vietnam, Somalia, Kuwait, Iraq, and in Afghanistan. The flag has been burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of countries that America has helped set free. Yet, it remains invincible.
Coat. Sir, the flag is secure. We tie the coat. Left wheel, hard. Forward, hard. Left wheel, hard. Forward, hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the playing and singing of the United States Air Force song. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain in your seating area. The graduates will be dismissed momentarily. Families with graduates in the Drum and Bugle Corps are asked to wait for their graduates on the north side of the west bleachers while they secure their equipment. We ask that you refrain from running onto the retreat pad and please use caution when descending the bleachers. Town Pass ends at 2000 hours. When dropping off graduates, please stay in your vehicle. Family members are not authorized to enter any training area. Thank you, and please enjoy your stay at the 37 Training Wing, Lackland, Texas. All graduates are now released. Top graduate, please report to the podium.